Hey everyone, welcome back. So in the previous sessions, we have already discussed about connecting Snowflake to Power BI. And we also discussed about bringing data from Snowflake to Power BI. And we have also discussed about data understanding part in Snowflake. Now in Power BI, we will discuss about the data understanding part. And we will try to perform some data cleaning operations as well. Because whenever you are beginning with the reporting part, the very first thing that you must do is that you should check the data types of each one of the columns. Especially you should check the data types of each one of the columns, and then you have to perform all necessary required data transformations. You can check for blank values, null values, wherever, if in case it is required to replace any value, you can do that. If you want to remove certain records, if you want to remove certain columns, you can do that. And then once the data is in a proper shape, it's properly prepared, transformed, and structure, only then you should go for the data modeling part and calculations and all that, and the reporting part has to be done later. But the very first thing is that you should understand the data better and you should perform data transformation. The data has to be clean. So I will now simply, we have already discussed about bringing data into Power BI from Snowflake. I'll now simply click here on transform data, and this interface is basically the Power Query editor. And here in Power Query Editor, you can see that these are the different kinds of columns that we have. And if I scroll to the right, you can see these are all different columns that we have already discussed about in previous sessions, right? So now we will discuss about the data type of each one of columns. So when the data was loaded from Snowflake to Power BI, so Power BI auto detected the data types of all these columns. Now we will go through each one of them and we will try to gather more information about each one of the columns in Power BI in Power Query Editor using Power Query Editor. So I will simply click here on View tab, and I will simply check these three boxes. The very first for column distribution, second one for column profile, and third one for column quality. All right. Also here at the bottom, you can see that by default, Power BI will show you the column profiling for top 1000 rows. You need to change it to column profiling for entire data set. So I'll simply click here on this option and we'll simply click on column profiling based on entire data set. So now for entire data set, the column profiling will be done, right? If I talk about the first column, so you can see that it is the ID column, and in the ID column, we were not having the decimal values, right? But here you can see that Power BI auto detected the data type to be a decimal value. So what we can do, we can simply click here on this 1.2 written here at the top. And here you can see that there are different data types that we can choose from. Let's say I want to change it to a whole number, as I know that in this particular column, there are no decimal values. So I'll simply click on whole number. All right. Then similarly for second column, if I'll click on the second column, then again, the different kinds of values present in this column and everything, all of the details will be shown. Age as well, we know that if for age, we know that the values are not decimal values, but these are whole numbers. So again, I can click on this particular small icon that is 1.2, and I will simply change it to a whole number from here. Similarly, for gender, I'll simply click on the gender. As of now, you can see that Power BI auto detected the data type to be a text value. So that's fine. We are comfortable with that. So we don't want to change that. Also, you should note that here the distinct and unique count is being represented. So when we say distinct, so distinct refers to the different kinds of values present in a given column, and unique represents or refers to those values that occur, those different values that occur only once in the given column. So here in the gender column, you can see that female occurs more than once, male occurs more than once, and non-binary also occurs more than once in this particular column. That's why the unique count is 0. There are no such values in this column that occur exactly once. That's why the unique count is 0. But there are 3 different kinds of values in this column, that is female, male, and non-binary. That's why the distinct count is 3. So for each one of the columns, you can check the distinct and unique count as well. In this particular example, here in this particular project, the data set that we are using, it basically consists of only one table. But we have also discussed about projects wherein we have data sets with multiple tables. And when there are multiple tables, so it is required to create relationships between those multiple tables. And when it is required to create the relationship between multiple tables, then in that case, it becomes essential to define a primary key in a given table. And for all those cases, the distinct and unique count becomes an important criteria to check, because for primary key column, there should be no null values. And apart from that, the distinct and the unique count also has to be same. So that is one thing that we generally check, right, while deciding the primary key in a given table, right? So that's the point that I wanted to discuss about. And then if I'll talk about the other columns, if I'll talk about the panic attack frequency, so panic attack frequency, again, it's a whole number. So I'll simply click here on this small icon and I'll change it to a whole number from here. Duration in minutes, again, Power BI detected it to be a decimal type, but it's not. It's basically a whole number. We'll change it to a whole number as well. Trigger reason. So yes, it was a textual value, textual column. So that's why ABC is written here at the top. And these are the different kinds of values as well that you can see. If you'll hover the mouse over any one of the values, you'll come to know that this particular value occurs, let's say, n number of times in the given column. So that count is also being shown or represented, right? So you can hover the mouse over different bars and you can check this value as well. Apart from that, if you will see this column statistics part on the left hand side, once you've clicked on any one of the column, you can see that the total count is being shown, errors are being shown, empty values are being shown, distinct count is being shown, unique is being shown, empty string is being shown, minimum maximum value is being shown. So you will get all this type of details about each one of the columns, and that's pretty much beneficial and useful for you, because better is your understanding about the data, easier it will become for you to create the report, right? If there are any issues with the data that you are going to use for the reporting purposes, it's certainly going to impact your report's performance. So you must check this data cleaning, data transformations part first, and only then you should proceed towards the reporting part. So if I'll now simply click on heart rate, so heart rate as well, we were having whole number values, so I'll change it to whole number from here. I'll click on sweating. So there are only two kinds of values. It's a Boolean data type, so true or false. And then here you can see that true, there is a total count of 836, and for false, the total count is 364. Similarly, we can check for other columns. Just simply click on other columns and check for the values. And we are fine with it. There are no empty values, no errors. All the values are valid, 100% values are valid. For the other column, that is chest pain, same is the case. And then if I'll scroll to the right, then we have other symptom, that is trembling. You can check for the values. There are no errors, no empty values. So we are fine with everything. Medical history, these are different kinds of values that we have. And then the corresponding count can also be seen by simply hovering the mouse over these bars that you can see here. And then again, we have medication. Again, in terms of true and false, a Boolean column with Boolean data type. And then caffeine intake. So for caffeine intake as well, the data type was a whole number. So we can change it to a whole number from here. Then exercise frequency, again, it's a whole number. We'll change the data type to whole number from here. And then sleep hours. Sleep hours was having the values which were decimal values. So we will keep it as decimal only. For alcohol consumption, the data type was whole number. We'll again simply click here on this particular icon and change it to a whole number. Then smoking, then we are fine with it. Whatever values are present here, either true or false, it's a Boolean data type. Then therapy, and then we have panic score. Panic score was also on a scale of 1 to 10. So we can change the data type from decimal to whole number. All right. And once you have performed all these transformations, so you can just simply click here on home tab. In order to apply the changes, just simply click here on this arrowhead and click on apply. So it might require some time to apply the changes. We'll wait for some time, no issues. All right. Now, let's say we are interested in performing some data transformations, right? Might be, let's say, if I'll talk about these two columns that we have, might be, let's consider this column, that is sweating and shortness of breath, right? Let's say these are the two columns that we want to consider, and might be we want that here true or false should not be written, but in place of true, 1 should be written, and in place of false, 0 should be written. We want that change to happen for sweating column and shortness of breath column, both the columns. So I will, first of all, let's change the data type from Boolean to text. So I'll simply click here on this small icon at the top left hand side. We'll change it to text first of all from here. Then right click on the sweating column, replace values, and simply replace true by 1. And then again, right click on the sweating column, replace values, replace false by 0 and simply click on OK. Similarly, for shortness of breath column, let's say we want to perform similar changes. We want true to be replaced by 1 and false to be replaced by 0. So again, I will first of all change the data type from Boolean to text. Then right click on the shortness of breath column, replace values. Let's change true to 1 and false to 0. Simply click on OK. Now, since we want to remain here in Power Query Editor and we want to apply the changes as well, so I'll simply click here on close and apply, and then simply click on apply. So it might require some time to apply the changes. No worries, we'll wait for some time. All right. So these were some of the data transformations that we have performed. In fact, if you want to perform other sorts of data transformations, everything can be done here in Power Query Editor, but here the data looks fairly clean. And now next session onwards, we are further going to discuss about the reporting part, and we'll discuss about DAX and other calculations and requirements, and then we'll create a Power BI report in the upcoming sessions, right? So I hope this video was helpful. And also there is one more thing that you should keep in mind. Let's say you want to go back to the report view, so you can just simply click here on this arrowhead and then simply click on close and apply. So it will apply all the changes that we made in Power Query Editor, and it will bring you back to the report view. This is the report view in Power BI Desktop. All right, so I hope this video was helpful and you got an idea and understanding about the data transformations part in Power BI for this particular project. And we'll meet in the next session. We'll discuss about other important part. Till then, thank you. Bye-bye.